Hey, what's up, guys? Max Chadwick alongside Dalton Wasserman here, doing another full 3-round mock draft. This time doing it for the New York Jets, Dalton's team. Dalton, we're trying to fix your franchise right now, the New York Jets. We're going to try using the PFF Mock Draft Simulator that everyone in the world uses, from coaches, even GMs of your favorite team, agents, and of course you can use it as well. Using a PFF Plus subscription, you can find it and do a full 7-round mock draft for the Jets, for your own team, for your rivals team, for all 32 NFL teams if you want to do it as well. Of course, you could use it with a PFF Plus subscription today. Trade players, trade picks. Again, over 300 players in the mock draft simulator as well. It's the best one on the planet, and we're a little bit biased here, but we do think it's the best one on the planet. So let's go over to the Jets with their number 6 overall pick. Start off with the mock draft. So I'm going to lean on you a lot here because I want you to fix your own team here. What are you feeling here with this number 6 overall pick? Obviously, Mason Graham just went, a guy that we thought maybe could be an option there for the Jets. Is there anyone else here that you like potentially here for the Jets at number 6?
Okay, so it's a highly unlikely scenario, but we have a scenario here where the top 2 quarterbacks are on the board.
And
even if just, well, here's the thing, even if just one of them were on the board, right? Because we see there that Jalen Milroe actually went to the Giants at 3, and they took a big swing on the high and low Milroe, and maybe even if the Raiders took one of either Shedeur or Cam there at that second spot, you'd get one available, right? Because I don't think New England certainly doesn't need a quarterback. It's starting to feel like Tennessee doesn't need a quarterback. Maybe if somebody fell in love with Milroe, this would be a scenario. So you know what? In this one, we're going to have some fun. Let's go the quarterback route. Now, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers will be there or not next year, but either way, they need a long-term solution. And you know my feeling on this. I think my QB1 and the most pro-ready quarterback to start week 1 for any team in the NFL, I think, is Shedeur Sanders. Let's bring prime time to New York City with the New York Jets, and this is, for me, this might even be the dream pick. I don't know if I'll actually get it. I have a hard time believing the Raiders would pass him up, but if he were to fall to this spot, I would take him, and we'll see what the Rodgers situation is. If he's trying to play next year, fine, we'll sit Shedeur for a year, but I think the idea of Shedeur Sanders, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and honestly, an underrated offensive line. They actually went out this year and fixed the offensive line. John Simpson's been really good.
Olu's playing better.
Joe Tippmann's really good. Olu, once they actually put him at left tackle where he should be playing, he looks good. I think, you know what? The Jets are the Jets. I understand it, but it's not the worst place Shedeur could go. And you know me, I'm a big fan of Shedeur, and I'm a big fan of the Jets, and that would be a fun pairing for me personally. But I'll take the quarterback, hopefully of the future, that we've been looking for 50 years.
And it's weird how high they're picking year after year. I feel like this is a win-now roster too, right? This is a roster that's capable of winning. And I think with the, like I said, the high-floor quarterback Shedeur Sanders there, now are you hiring Deion Sanders as your head coach? That's the question.
I don't think Deion's leaving.
No, I know. I'm messing around. I would not hire Deion Sanders.
I get the conspiracy and what everyone's getting after, but I mean, what if you convinced yourself, and now it would be the coach before the quarterback, because the coach is going to want his choice, but let's just say they throw a bunch of money, and it's Ben Johnson and Shedeur Sanders with Breece Hall, with Garrett Wilson, just a thought here, and we know Ben Johnson can call some plays. He's been doing it with Jared Goff, obviously, for a few years here, and the Lions are the best offense in football right now. But no, I think Deion, especially with the that recruiting class he's bringing into Colorado, I think he's staying there. I don't think he's going with Shedeur anywhere.
All right, love it. Let's take Shedeur Sanders to the Jets there, number 6 overall. Next pick we got is number 38 overall pick now. All right, Dalton. So they have a few interesting places they can go here. That was tight end, D tackle, corner, or some of the needs that you see on the PFF Mock Draft Simulator right there. Anyone that you like here in that range that would fit that? What are those needs for the Jets?
I think there's some talented players here. We've gotten in a couple of these mocks to this range, and we're going, boy, it feels like every guy on this board is a defensive lineman. I would take a defensive lineman here. I think it's a debate.
Walter Nolan.
Walter Nolan would fit absolutely next to Quinnen Williams. I think an edge player would help too, and I think it's going to depend, new coaching staff, on what their defense looks like. If this was Robert Saleh's defense still, or Jeff Ulbricht's defense, I might go with a guy like a Landon Jackson, actually, who I think is a really good run defender, and they need help off of the edge. They have Will McDonald right now and basically not a whole lot else. So I think, depending on the defense, but I think you mentioned Walter Nolan as a good choice here because, what Walter Nolan does on the inside, that translates to almost any defense. And you put him next to Quinnen Williams, and I think it has been a problem of the interior has been Quinnen and just a bunch of fill-in guys who don't have a ton of impact. So I don't hate the Walter Nolan pick if you don't. I'm kind of in on that.
No, let's do it. I like Walter Nolan, not a lot at 38 overall. Next to Quinnen Williams is just disgusting. So I think that'd be a really good pick for New York there. And then the final pick here at number 96 overall. Some interesting players here.
Some very interesting players. I mean, so there's a couple of things I think about, and we think about supporting this defense. I think the defensive line, you could still double up, and, you know, we could see what kind of edge players are on the board here. I think it's a pretty deep edge class you're working with. I think corner with DJ Reed possibly leaving in free agency. I think safety could be an option. You know, this is a spot where he's not on the board here. I don't see him, but if a Kevin Winston Jr. were available, that's a guy I would think about at safety. I think the Jets could go in a lot of directions. I think if there was a solid tight end on the board, if a Harold Fannin was on the board, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think there's some people, and we look, Olu Fashanu's been really good since he's gone to left tackle, but there's been a lot of questions about, man, what if the Jets had just drafted Brock Bowers? I mean, you know, so I think we could kind of go with several different avenues here. If we want to scroll down just a little bit to see more of our options, because I think we have a ton of them, honestly. I think, you know, K'Mon Rucker, I don't hate. More off the edge. Billy Bowman, maybe as a guy, aggressive kind of ball hawk from Oklahoma. Billy Bowman could be an option. Oh, my God, J.J. Pegues. I already took Nolan.
I know, you can't double up on Ole Miss tackles.
Pegues would be my backup quarterback. Anyway,
the one I saw at the top that I liked was Azareye'h Thomas.
I thought you were going to say Drew Aller.
No, Azareye'h Thomas. That was a guy that I was like looking at potentially.
It's a solid guy. Florida State's been producing some really good corners.
He's athletic. He's really athletic. Good in man.
I don't hate that at all. We've seen the success already of Renardo Green and Jerrion Jones in the NFL. Thomas has a lot of experience outside. They need an outside corner to go with Sauce outside and Michael Carter on the inside. I don't hate that pick either. I think there's a ton of ways you could go about this for the Jets, and I think the idea is just plugging holes, right? Because you mentioned it. This is not supposed to be a bottom-of-the-barrel roster. It's not.
No.
They just have not executed. They weren't coached well, and they're not disciplined. And, okay, the Aaron Rodgers. Last year was the year. This is what we need to say with the Jets first. 2023 was the year. Mm-hmm. The year the Achilles got popped, that was the year. That was the year they were going to be great. Now it's a year too late, and Rodgers is off the Achilles and everything that's happened. But, no, I think Thomas is reasonable, too. And I think it's been mentioned. It's going to be mentioned a lot with DJ Reed. Maybe he's not coming back in free agency. Maybe going to leave. Maybe you start to look for those guys. I think Azareye'h Thomas is a reasonable pick. Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, let's go with Azareye'h Thomas to round out our 3-round mock draft for the New York Jets. So what we did for them, we took Shedeur Sanders at the 6th overall pick, Walter Nolan later on in the 2nd round, and then Azareye'h Thomas in the 3rd round to round out that mock draft. So got the quarterback of the future, Dalton, and then attack the defense after that. Pretty solid job for the Jets there, I would say.
I don't hate it. Look, if any time you mention Jets and quarterback of the future, you start to cringe a little bit. But if this was going to be the way it shook, and I had to pick one guy for not just the Jets, for a lot of teams, and I think he's the best quarterback in the draft, I'm taking Shedeur Sanders. If he's on the board, go ahead and do it, whether he plays in 2025 or not, or only part of it, depending on Aaron Rodgers' situation. I'm all for it.
Yeah, love it. So that's what we got for our 3-round New York Jets mock draft. I want to remind you guys we're doing this for every single division. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single one of your favorite team or whoever else we're doing in the NFL as well. And of course, please use the PFF Mock Draft Simulator today. You can find it at PFF.com and do a full 7 rounds if you want to with a PFF Plus subscription. But we'll see you guys next time for our next AFC East mock draft.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below, so if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can become one today.